Okay, hey everybody, I'm just showing you how I make my farmhouse tassels and dangles. I had a request to show this. I recently put a video out where I had a bunch of dangles and tassels that I made for a Graphic 45 event, and I'm not going to show all of the different types and styles of tassels I used in this particular video. I'm just going to show you the farmhouse style. And so there was a couple different things that I did, and the first was just to make, I did make one that was kind of a shabby farmhouse style, and I just made a regular tassel. So I'm going to show you how I did that. I used a cotton lace. I don't have any more of that right at the moment, and then I also used like some cotton threads, like a it's like a twill type of fabric, and I don't have any of that either. I used it all up. So I'm just going to show you with what ribbon and lace that I have. If you want to see how that one turned out, please, I'll put a link to the original video below, and it's probably in the middle of the video, the farmhouse style dangles. But basically all I did was cut a 10-inch pieces of lace and ribbon, and just keep in mind they were not these particular ribbons and lace. It was more of a organic cotton. It just had more of a farmhouse feel to it than this. But basically, I just take the 10 inches and I arrange them, kind of mix them up so they're not all, not all the ribbons and not all the lace are right together. And then sometimes I just kind of twist it like that, and then I fold it like that. And then I will take on this particular tassel, I used this thin cord, and it's kind of like I want to say it's like a jewelry, I think you get it in the jewelry section, like jewelry type of cord. And hang on, that one's wanting to come loose. So I'm just going to twist that up tight again. And so basically I'm just going to take my cord, but you could use ribbon, lace, twine, whatever you want to tie your tassel. And then I'm going to leave some hanging, and I'm going to wrap around once, and then I'm just going to pull those ends super, super tight. Okay, gotta hurry here. I'm getting that morning sun in the window. I might have to move. Okay. I thought I was getting up early enough, but apparently not. Okay, then I'm just going to tie it in a knot. I'm having a really hard time today, guys. My arthritis is killing me. Okay, so just tying that in a knot. And there you have it. And so then you're going to have this loop at the top. And because I twisted it, it's going to be a little difficult to find it. Okay, and then I'm just taking another cord, and I'm going to loop that through like this. I hope this one's long enough. I'm not sure if I got it long enough. One thing I did do was I added just a little bit of white glue onto the knots of my cord, because it dries clear. So it has to be really good white glue. I use art glitter glue, or sometimes I use this Crafter's Pick, the ultimate glue. I get at Hobby Lobby. Either one of those glues will dry clear, and you just dab a little bit on your knots where the string could come loose, and that way it just kept it really secure. And so I'm just tying my knot at the top. Make sure you get all those little loops. You don't want one missing. And then you can, kind of fluff that out, or kind of, arrange it to where it looks good to you. This particular curly lace, it's just really difficult to make that look good at the top. But, and then, so once I had my my string, then I, on that particular dangle that I made, the kind of shabby one, all I used was 3 of the white or natural colored beads. I got my beads at Hobby Lobby, or not at Hobby Lobby, at Amazon, because I was having a heck of a time finding supplies at the craft stores. I think things are, you know, having a hard time getting on the shelves lately. So anyway, so that's basically all I did for my shabby tassel. And to tie your loop at the end, I just fold. I really should have had more. It's just easier when you have more room. But just fold that over, and then you take it as if it was one piece. And you know how when you tie your shoe, you crisscross over and then put one side through the loop like that. And then I would pull that knot all the way to the end of the bead. It takes a little work to get that knot down there. Sometimes you have to loosen it up, the knot up, and then keep pushing that knot down till it gets to the end of the bead. If it doesn't quite get down to the end of the bead, that's okay, because on a lot of the tassels I tied a little bow there with some black checkered or gingham ribbon, so, or black and white. So anyway, but that's what I did here. Now, if you want to add the smaller beads, some of the tassels I added the little tiny beads. Make sure you're using the thin cord for that. Some of the tassels I made just like this, with just this this twine, and I got this particular twine at Michael's in the floral section, and they called it an ivory jute. So I don't know if it's just bleached or if it's, I'm not sure, but it's where the regular jute is. And then I did a few with a black twine. I had gotten that at my local scrapbook store, and there was just a small amount of it left. I don't know where to find it. I'm sure I could probably look for it online, but that's where I got the black. But on those tassels, the ones where I was just using the large beads, I just went ahead and I wrapped this part of the tassel with the twine, and then wrapped the top with the twine, just like I showed you with this tassel, and then I only used the large beads. So I did one that was white and black. Some of them I mixed. I did two white beads and 2 black beads, so that's, you know, it's pretty much just tying the tassel in the same way. Now, if you're wondering how to actually make the tassel part with the twine, I'll show you that really quick. It's super easy. Let me just grab the twine here. Let me just loose some off the roll here. Now, I made 2 different lengths of tassel. I think I only ended up using one of the small ones on one of the tassels, but I used a lot of this size, and so basically I just took a piece of chipboard that I had laying around the house or in my craft area, and I just did the tall ones this way, and then the short ones I flipped the chipboard over and did it this way. So I'm going to do a tall one, I think, and basically I start with the bottom there, hold that with my thumb, and I just wrapped around about 15, 16 times, I think. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So you want to make sure that both ends are facing the same direction. You don't want one end on this side and one end on this side. You want both ends on the same side. So I'm just going to cut that off. And then I slide it off of the cardboard. And then I do the same thing. Let's see, do I have a piece that's cut? No. So I do the same thing. Make sure your your end pieces are on the bottom, and so this is going to be my top. So I'm going to, that one wants to, there we go. I'm going to have a piece at the end here, and I'm just going to wrap it once, hold those ends super tight, and then I'm going to wrap this towards the top, and I just want to make sure that my little strands are right close together when I'm wrapping that, and then just tie a knot. Okay, for the sake of time, I'm just gonna tie that once, and then you would just take your scissors and pull that taut and just cut the ends like that. And you can, if you need to trim them up more even later, you can do that. Of course, it's a farmhouse tassel. I didn't bother with that. And then I went ahead and used, like I said, the thicker twine to just do the ones with the larger beads. Okay, and then a couple things on this. First of all, you could actually take one of the ends of that twine and shove it through that hole there, so you don't have that big knot there, which is what I did. Sometimes I would take that second piece and kind of shove it up in the hole so that this would lay flatter. This one's kind of messed up, so it's not going to do that right now. But and then the other thing I did was I took a piece of Scotch tape and wrapped it really tight around the end just to help me get it through the beads. Even with the larger beads, sometimes the other side where they drilled the hole wasn't very good or very clear to get through. And then there was one other thing that I did besides just looping the beads on. And then I would tie, when I got to the top, I'd loop it just like I showed you with the knot, like that. And then I just tied a bow on the top, wrapping it around the twine, and just tied a bow. And that was how I did a lot of the tassels. Yeah, you'll have to refer back to that video to see them, because obviously I gave them all away, and I can't make every single tassel over again. But one thing I want to show you that I did, and this one I used the black twine and the white beads, but I'll just do it the opposite way. So I strung the first bead on, and then I tied a knot like this, and you just want to make sure you're pulling that knot down towards, you don't want the knot to tighten up till it gets to the top of that bead. And so then I tied it once, and then I tied it again to make the knot really thick, because I don't want the beads coming through. So I have a double knot there. And then I took another bead and I strung it through like that, so they have that effect on the tassel. So that one turned out really cute. I was really happy with that. So I did one that way. And so then on the small one that I made, the small little tassel, what I did with that is, can I get a thread through here? I took the thinner cord, and I wish I could show you what it is, but I'd cut the packaging off and all apart, so I don't even know to tell you exactly what it is, except that I got it in the jewelry section of the craft store by all the beads and stuff. So, ooh, I wrapped this one really tight. Let's see. I don't want to cut it. If I can get my pen in there a little bit so I can find a hole. There we go. Okay, so on a couple of the tassels, I wanted to use these smaller beads, and I got these in a package at the craft store. I know you can buy all these things online too, so no need to worry about that. And so I did my knot Ooh, got quiet all of a sudden, right? I'm not talking. It's like it was silence. It was so quiet in here. Okay, so I did my knot, and then I started with a large bead. And this one you might need to do, even though it's small, you might need to wrap the tape around that as well. And then I think I did the black, and then I used these. This package came with like a really super dark brown and this reddish color and then a mustard color. Well, this reddish color I thought really matched that Graphic 45 Farmhouse paper. So I would do a red bead in between, and then I did the black, and so on and so forth. So if you only do about 3 of these, you could still, I think actually I did think I used the taller tassel with this one, because I only used 3 of the black beads and 3 of the red beads, and it was a little long. And the reason I say that is because I had these tied to the large Graphic 45 tags for presentation and to show how they coordinated with the paper. And it was just, I thought it was just a really nice way to present these and have a nice gift. So, so I didn't want the tassels. I mean, because you can make these as long as you want, right? But I didn't want to do that, so I think I just 3 and made it a little bit shorter. But there was one that I made a little bit longer with more beads, and that one I used. I think I did it just like this with the white twine and the cording, and then I used I can't remember which beads I used, but I think I used the natural colored ones. And then I stuck one of each of these colors of beads. And I did that a couple times, and so that one, that's why I needed to use the smaller tassel, because that one ended up being a lot of beads on there. So you could have 2 different looks. You could have a longer tassel and less beads, or you could do a lot of beads and do a shorter tassel. And then one thing that I did that I want to show you, and so I will just go ahead and keep, you know, I think I'll do this one. I think I'll do this color. I don't want to clip that twine off just yet. Let me add a little bit of glue before I do that. And I'm just, you see, I just added a little bit of glue, and I'm just dabbing it, and I want to make sure it covers where those ends come out, so I don't want them to come untied. And I think this one already has glue on it. Okay, yeah. And I just left that little knot there. That doesn't bother me. You could somehow loop it through there, and so it's not really showing, but I really don't mind because it's a farmhouse style. And then what I think I'm going to do is, and then I do this sometimes just to keep that second piece even more secure. If there's room in the bead hole, I will just string both ends through there. Now, if I was doing all large beads, I would just continue to do that, and that would just really keep that tie secure inside the beads. But because I'm not doing that, I'm going to add a smaller bead. I'm going to go ahead and clip that. Actually, I might need to clip it just a little bit more, so it doesn't show on the top, but I'm still going to string it through there, okay? And then I'm going to just continue to add beads, and I'm going to add a small bead and then a larger bead. You know what, I'm going to have to put Scotch tape on it. Sometimes I can get these through without the tape, and sometimes I can't. It just depends on the hole in the bead. Some of them are nice and clean and all the way through, and some of them are not. So you know what, I'm going to come back, because you don't want to sit and watch me do that. you don't want to sit and watch me bead all of these, but I'm actually going to bead quite a few. I'm gonna go large bead, small bead, large bead, small bead. So I will be right back once that is done, and I'll show you what I've decided to do. Okay, so I changed my mind. So anyway, I've been admiring those farmhouse garlands on Pinterest that are used for home decorating, and they're quite long, and they have like large wooden tags on the end, or maybe they'll have a tassel on each end, and they're I don't know if they're necessarily using larger beads than this. These are about 3/4 of an inch. I think they're 20 millimeter. I know you can get larger beads, so they may be using those for the home decorating. But anyway, I kind of thought it'd be fun to do a graphic 45 mini version of those home decor farmhouse garlands. And so I took a piece of their chipboard and I just inked the edges in black, and before I did that, before I inked the edges, I glued a piece of paper to cover the raw back of the chipboard, and I just kind of sanded it down on the edges just a little bit. Now, you don't want to go too crazy with the sanding, and then punched a hole through that paper, and then I inked the edges in black. And so because I really like this Rise and Shine chipboard, and so because I picked that, I decided to go with the white and the mustard colored beads instead. So so basically I just used the small tassel, and oh, you know what, I forgot to give you the sizes of the chipboard. I just grabbed something that I eyeballed it, but let me just show you what size this is. So the short tassels would be, this chipboard is 3 3/8, so 3 3/8, and then this way is 4 3/4, and it's not even cut very straight. I mean, it's just a piece of chipboard I had laying around. So 4 3/4, and that gives you these two sizes of tassels. Okay, so I did the shorter tassel. And then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of the large natural colored beads, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of the mustard colored beads, or the smaller beads. And so basically, you know, I showed you how I just looped everything. I started with the tassel, and I looped that larger bead through, and then the small, and just kept going, and using this thinner cord, and I put the piece of tape on it so I could get the beads through, and then I just went all the way down, and then I had a piece of twine left, and I just looped it through the hole of the chipboard, and I tied a knot. Okay, and I just made sure it was pulled really tight. It took a little work to get that really tight in there. And then the end of the knot, I added some glue, and then the end of the knot of the other side of the little end piece of the knot that was sticking out, I shoved it up in there with, I can't remember, like a really small pair of scissors or something. I just shoved that other end of the knot up through that hole, so that's how it looks like this. So, I don't know if you can see, but maybe you can see right there how I shoved the end of the knot up through that hole in the bead. And so then now I have my little mini garland. And so I have a farmhouse project that I did at the retreat. And so I'm just going to set this next to the garland, and I will have a picture. It will not be the full picture of the project because I'm not sure that I can show everybody that, because I believe it is an exclusive project for the retreat, so I won't show you the whole project, but I'll take a small, kind of a peek of it with the garland. And anyway, so I think this is going to be really fun to set in my home next to that project, and I have a little mini home decor farmhouse style garland. And so of course you could do the same process for a large home decor piece as well, you know. And so anyway, that's how I made my farmhouse style garlands and tassels. And I will do a quick tutorial on the other types of garlands that tassels that I made, but that's just a whole nother ball game, so I'm going to do that on a separate video. So thank you guys so much for watching and taking an interest, and I really appreciate your comments. And I'll catch you guys next time. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye. Okay, one thing that I forgot to mention is that I also made some dangles just using these coordinating pieces here from the farmhouse and just some of the beads. And I did not use the tassels. So that's why I call them dangles and tassels, because some of them didn't have the tassels at all. So basically all I did was, you know, cover the back of the chipboard and punch a hole through the paper, and then tied a knot, and then strung my beads through, and just tied a knot at the top bead, and then made my loop, and then I had a cute little dangle with just chipboard. So if you want to see those, make sure you watch the video I've linked to. And the farmhouse dangles and tassels are towards the middle of the video, but it's a very short video. So anyway, so you'll see those there. And then just one other quick thought. You know, I do have all these tassels left that I haven't used yet, and so what I'm thinking of doing is maybe using some of these for Christmas wrapping. And I know that some of you are doing the farmhouse Christmas style as well, and so this would just make a cute way to add, instead of adding a bow, add a cute little tassel to your packaging. And then also you could even do this as well, and then put, instead of just putting any old paper on the back, you could put something that says to, from, and then you have a cute little farmhouse bead dangle style tag that could also be used as an ornament later on. So these could be hanging from the tree. So anyway, I just thought I'd share that little, and I'm sure this idea has been thought of before, but I thought I'd just share that with you. And so anyway, you guys, thanks so much for watching. And again, don't forget to subscribe, and please hit the like button. And I hope that you're joining me for my upcoming videos. Thanks for watching. Bye.